in a village nestled among the rolling hills of Nigeria. A profound sense of despair hung heavy in the air. The once lush fields now lay barren, the earth cracked and dry under the relentless sun. The villagers, with sunken eyes and hollow cheeks, struggled to find food for their families. It was a time of great famine, and hope seemed to have vanished along with the harvest. As the elders gathered under the shade of the ancient baobab tree, they spoke in hushed tones, their faces lined with worry. Among them was an old man, his voice trembling with age as he recounted an ancient legend passed down through generations. Long ago, he began, his voice barely more than a whisper. There was a wicked witch who lived on the outskirts of our village. She possessed a magical pot that could produce unlimited food, a blessing during times of famine. But the witch, in her malevolence, refused to use it, claiming it was cursed. The villagers listened intently, their eyes wide with fear and fascination. The old man continued, his words weaving a tale of mystery and dread. Many tried to open the pot, hoping to access its bounty, but each time the pot remained sealed, and those who dared to touch it were cursed by the witch. The land around her hut withered and died, and the villagers lived in fear of our wrath. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the village square, the elders fell silent, lost in thought. The legend of the witch pot lingered in the air, a haunting reminder of the village's desperate plight. As the famine tightened its grip on the village, desperation crept into the hearts of its inhabitants. Among them was a young man named Tunde, whose family was among the hardest hit by the food shortage. One night, driven by hunger and despair, Tunde decided to take matters into his own hands. Under the cover of darkness, Tunde made his way to the outskirts of the village, where the witch hut stood abandoned, a haunting reminder of the village's past. Ignoring the warnings of the elders, he approached the hut and found the pot, its surface covered in mystical symbols that seemed to glow in the moonlight. With trembling hands, Tunde managed to pry open the lid of the pot. As he did, emanated from within, casting eerie shadows on the ground. Ignoring the sense of foreboding that gripped him, Tunde reached inside and touched the contents. In an instant, a powerful curse was unleashed. The ground shook violently, and a deafening roar filled the air. Tunde stumbled back, his body racked with pain as the curse took hold around him. The earth seemed to rebel, crops withering and dying in a matter of seconds. The villagers awoke to the chaos, their faces etched with fear and confusion. They found Tunde, writhing in agony, his body contorted by the curse. Despite their efforts to help him, there was nothing they could do. Tunde's fate was sealed, a grim reminder of the consequences of meddling with dark forces. As Tunde's cries faded into the night, the villagers gathered around the witch hut, a solemn reminder of the dangers that lay within. legend of the witch pot had become all too real, a curse that would haunt the village for generations to come. As the village struggled to cope with the aftermath of Tunde's fate, the elders knew they had to act quickly to contain the curse. They convened a council meeting, and after much deliberation, they decided to appoint a priest named Adewale to manage the pot. Adewale was known for his unwavering faith and courage, qualities that would be crucial in facing the dark magic that lingered within the pot. With a heavy heart, Adewale accepted the responsibility entrusted to him. As he approached the witch hut, a sense of foreboding washed over him. He knew that the task ahead would not be easy, but he was determined to succeed for the sake of his village. As Adewale reached the hut, he could feel the malevolent energy emanating from within. Taking a deep breath, he pushed open the door and stepped inside. The interior was shrouded in darkness, the air thick with the smell of decay. Adewale could sense that he was not alone. The spirits of the witch lingered, watching his every move. He approached the pot with caution, his heart pounding in his chest. As he reached out to touch it, a sudden gust of wind rattled the windows, and the pot began to glow with an otherworldly light. Adewale knew that he had to act quickly before the curse could spread further. With all his strength, Adewale tried to seal the pot, but it resisted, the curse intensifying with each passing moment. Shadows danced around him, and he could hear whispers in the darkness taunting him, tempting him to give up. But Adewale refused to be swayed. He called upon his faith, reciting prayers passed down through generations. Slowly, the pot began to yield, the lid inching closer to being sealed. With one final push, Adewale managed to close the pot, the curse contained once more. As the last echoes of the curse faded away, Adewale slumped to the ground, exhausted but victorious. The village was safe once more, thanks to his bravery and faith. But little did he know that his true test was yet to come. Adewale's victory over the curse was short-lived, for the spirits of the witch, though contained, remained a powerful force of malevolence. As the days passed, strange occurrences began to plague the village. Crops wilted, livestock fell ill, and a sense of unease settled over the land. Adewale knew that the spirit of the witch was behind these troubles. He sought counsel from the elders, who confirmed his suspicions. They told him of the witch's tragic past, of how she had been betrayed by her own people and had turned to dark magic in her grief and anger. Determined to put an end to the spirit's torment, Adewale set out to confront her. He journeyed to the edge of the village, where the witch hut stood, a dark silhouette against the setting sun. As he approached, he could feel the malevolent energy growing stronger, the air thick with the smell of decay. Inside the hut, Adewale found the spirit of the witch, a shadowy figure, wrapped in darkness. She glared at him with eyes that burned with hatred, her voice a chilling whisper in the stillness of the night. "You cannot defeat me, priest," she hissed. "I am eternal, my curse unbreakable." But Adewale stood firm, his faith unwavering. He spoke to the spirit not with anger or hatred, but with compassion and understanding. It told her of the pain and suffering her curse had caused, of the lives it had destroyed. Slowly, the spirit began to change. Her features softened, and tears welled in her eyes. She spoke of her grief and regret, how she had been consumed by anger and vengeance. She longed for peace, to be free from the darkness that bound her. Moved by her words, Adewale offered her forgiveness. He reached out to her, and she took his hand, far from dissipating like smoke in the wind. With a final whisper of gratitude, she vanished, her curse lifted at last. As dawn broke over the horizon, the village awoke to a new day, free from the shadow of the witch curse. Adewale returned to the village, hailed as a hero. The pot remained sealed, its dark magic broken, a symbol of hope and redemption for all who had suffered. With the witch curse lifted and peace restored to the village, life began to return to normal. The once barren fields flourished once again, and the villagers worked together to rebuild what had been lost. Adewale, now hailed as a hero, continued to serve his community with unwavering devotion and humility. As the seasons passed, the legend of the witch pot faded into memory, a cautionary tale of the dangers of greed and vengeance. The pot itself remained sealed, its mystical content untouched, a silent testament to the village's resilience in the face of darkness. Years went by, and the village prospered, its people living in harmony with the land and each other. Adewale, now an old man, watched over them with pride, knowing that he had played a part in their salvation. One day, as he sat beneath the shade of the baobab tree, a group of children approached him, their eyes wide with curiosity. "Tell us the story of the witch pot, grandfather," one of them asked. Adewale smiled, his heart filled with warmth. He began to recount the tale, his voice strong and clear, passing down the story to a new generation. And as he spoke, the pot stood silent and unassuming, a reminder of the village's past.